It's time for Football Friday, sponsored by Independent Insurance Agents of South Dakota, South Dakota State University, South Dakota Department of Health, and Dakota Bank.
You're watching Football Friday on Dakota News Now.
And very nicely done by the Brandon Valley cheerleaders. We'll let you know
Double-A
right away
cheer
if they had a lot to cheer about.
Yeah.
Welcome to the postseason for everybody. I'm Mark Ovenden. He's Zach Borg. It's another Football Friday on Thursday, which I love, with every game taking on extra meaning.
That's right. After about half the state started last week, it's win or go home for everyone in South Dakota tonight. So let's get started right away with highlights from games in all 7 classes. The Lynx of Brandon Valley have the top overall spot in 11 AAA, and tonight they hosted the Washington Warriors. Washington hung around in this game. Opening drive, Lynx going for it on 4th and long. Quentin Hall leaps to make the pick in the end zone of Briggs Knutson's pass. Washington kept it scoreless until about the end of the first quarter, but the Lynx started to pull away as you would expect in the second. Knutson scrambles, hits Landon Delaney on the run. He will spin off a tackle and get in the end zone, and was all Lynx from there. They take it 35-6.
The second-seeded Lincoln Patriots hosting Rapid City Central at Howard Wood Field. It's going to be Brody Schaefer to a wide-open Mikey Roach. Where's the defense?
Geez.
I mean, where?
Yeah.
It's 8-0 at this point. After another
Maybe the
Schaefer
defense is back in
pass,
Rapid City.
he let Josh Myers do the work on the run from 26-yard out. It's 23-0 after 1. And coming from the shadows, where is he? There's Javen Augustus tiptoeing down the sidelines. 37-0 at halftime, 44-0 at the finish.
Best matchup of the night in 11 AAA was O'Gorman and Jefferson in the late game at Howard Wood Field, who would end up being a skeleton for the season. Second quarter, Cavaliers up 10. Ethan Swenson expands the advantage 5 yards to Tyson Tice. Like that name, 17-0. O'Gorman trying to put something on the board before half, getting to the goal line. Vince Benedetto's defense, the story, though. They blow this play up, forcing the fumble. That was one of 4 first-half takeaways. That's helped Jefferson get on to the semifinals. Good effort from O'Gorman late, but Jefferson wins 31-21.
And finally, the team that was number 1 much of the year, the Harrisburg Tigers, they hosted Roosevelt tonight, trying to get tuned up for the semifinals with a win. 4th and 1, Josiah Hines gets the first down and a bunch more. 55 yards later, he's in the end zone. It's 14-0 in favor of Harrisburg. Then Sam Knuth is going to dump it off to, why not, Josiah Hines. He puts the moves on. The Riders defense says, wow, he's shifty, very shifty. This one was 60 yards down the sideline. He stays in bounds, puts it in the end zone, makes it 21-0, and they would triple that. Your final 63-6 in favor of Harrisburg. And again, they are your winners. Brandon Valley, Lincoln, Jefferson, and Harrisburg, all victorious in 11 AA.
Crane Youngworth we go, and top-ranked Bucks in 11 AA against the Golden Eagles of Aberdeen Central. This was a bit of a battle for these teams. Pick it up with the ball being picked off by Bodie Thurman. Senior heads on and returns. He's swallowed up in the pile before it's called dead. That drive would stall. Second quarter now. Easton Nelson looking for anything open downfield. He'll fire down the sideline. Carson Borg. Nice last name, kid. Picks it off. He takes it deep. Eventually, Yankton will get the offense going and win this one 28-6, the final score.
And finally, we head up to Dana Dykhouse Stadium, where we all were last Saturday night. Same colors, different teams. And how about this? Dashel Lowry takes the handoff and goes in for the keeper. He faked the handoff, and it's 13-9 T area. But later on, Brookings' Ben Schulte gets the handoff, gets the corner, he scores. Brookings up 16-13, and this would be your game sealer. It's Gavin Anderson to Daggy Thomas in the end zone for 25 yards, and that would actually be your final score, 23-13. Let's go to the boards and see that Yankton wins. Watertown will host one final game at Watertown Stadium next Friday night with a 35-0 win. How about Pierre, 40-20?
They'll head out to Yankton.
There's your Brookings score again. Up next, plenty more 11-man quarterfinal highlights from classes 11A and 11B.
You're watching Football Friday, sponsored by Independent Insurance Agents of South Dakota, South Dakota State University, South Dakota Department of Health, and Dakota Bank.
And welcome back to Football Friday on Thursday. Love that. More 11-man playoff highlights. 11A, the Sioux Falls Christian Chargers had been dominant down the stretch until last Thursday when they had to rally past Dakota Valley. That kind of rhymes. Tonight, though, they hosted Rapid City Christian. Watch this great catch. Terrific grab. That was Tate Gadbois just inside the pylon, and it's 14-0 in
Put
favor
that
of
on
the
your
Chargers.
recruiting tape, kid.
Tate Connell is going to dive for the pylon, and he gets there.
Nice.
Braden Whitty had a monster game, but that was a touchdown for TC, and this time, Prinz to Wassner, 6 more, 58-23. I'd say they're rolling again with a big win tonight. Now, Cordell Wright was in Del Rapids for the Warriors game with Dakota Valley. How did it go, Cordell?
It was a lot of fun, Mark, and Del Rapids has played great down the stretch, but the Panthers almost beat Sioux Falls Christian last week, as you just said. So this had the makings of a great matchup, and it got going right from the opening kickoff. Feel it off the bounce by Cole Rusink. He's going to stick a foot in the ground, make a couple of defenders miss, and then just outruns the rest of them. Wow. That's going to make it a quick 7-0 lead right away. That's a scary sight for the Panther defense. Same quarter, Drew Lukin out of the gun, looking deep. Same guy from the opening kickoff, though.
Wow.
He got a foot in, makes that crazy interception inbounds. He was everywhere tonight, so why not go right back to him? He gets the handoff, finds the outside. He's going to stretch for the pylon, and he gets it. That's 14-0 at halftime. It didn't change much from there. 17-6.
Nice camera work
the
on
final.
that last touch.
I was a little worried he was going to get me.
Thanks, Cordell. Canton started the year in the top spot in 11A. Tonight they need a win at number 3, Lennox, or their season would be over. Boston Katzer had other ideas. Throws it up to Drake Nicholson. Loved it so much I coughed for the first touchdown of the game. Lennox was painting a masterpiece. Fans dressed like Bob Ross. Ain't nobody catching this Tate Gertis character. He's a pretty beautiful runner as well. That gets 6 more on the board, and Canton throws 3 picks in the first quarter. Got to get to this play. Tate Gertis with one of them beautiful. He can do it on offense and defense. And check out this final score. Lennox hangs 50 and shuts out Canton 50-0.
To Hartford, where these two teams have met many times in the Dome. Madison and West Central. What a rivalry there. But a miscue early. Oops. Not sure the snap happened when it should have. That leads to a turnover, and West Central quarterback Caden Alson finding Bennett Ingalls takes it deep into Madison territory, and a couple of plays later it's going to be Keaton Bessels punching in a touchdown to put the Trojans up 14-0, and that would be it. Your final score was 14-6 in favor of the Tees. We check out the scores in 11A. Sioux Falls Christian, Del Rapids, Lennox, and West Central all victorious.
On to 11B. The Huskies of Elk Point-Jefferson have been a lot of fun to watch the last few years. Tonight they hosted Clark Willow Lake, looking to get back to the semifinals. Of course, they've been to the Dome the last 2 years. There's a short touchdown run for Gunnar Ewing on the Wildcat. It's 7-0. Not long after, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They give it to Ewing again. He walks in, and they would walk over Clark Willow Lake. Final 41-6. Actually 41-8, according to that scoreboard.
All right, Sioux Valley is the top seed in 11B, and the Cossacks hosted the Tigers of Mobridge-Pollock tonight. Guess who was having himself some fun? Yep, that's our rodeo guy. That's Donovan Rose. Scores on a short touchdown there. That made it 7-0, and he scores on a long touchdown here. Watch the cutback. I think we showed this same cutback last week.
A lot of his runs look the same. That's how good they are.
46 yards for pay dirt. And Sioux Valley goes on to win 41-7, your final score there. Very similar scores in 11B. 41-7, 44-0,
One big upset, though.
41-8. And how about St. Thomas More scoring very late in the game to knock off MVP 38-34.
They'll head to winner next week, EPJ to Sioux Valley.
What a game. After the break, we got plenty of 9-man highlights, including these guys. They are defending 9AA champions. That's Parkston. On to the 9AA playoffs, where there are several teams. I love this class. There are several teams that have played like state champs all year long. Now, the Parkston Trojans are actually defending 9AA champs, and they are one of those teams that I talked about tonight. The Titans of Loyola Frederick came to town, and Johnny Weber is going to find some space here.
Johnny, be good.
There goes Johnny, all the way to the end zone for the touchdown and 6 points. And there are all kinds of fun wardrobes. 3 hot dogs in the stand cheering for their teams. Titans would tie it up, but then guess who gets the ball?
This guy can hot dog
Number
a little
7
bit.
is always good for 7. That's Coulter Kramer, one of the guys on the front cover of our Pigskin Preview magazine. That's 45 yards all the way for the score, and it was all Parkston in this game tonight. 40-6, your final score. Trojans win.
Hamlin Chargers sure seem like they're on a mission to take that title away from Parkston. Tonight they took on the Viberg Hurley Cougars in a game that figured to have a lot of scoring on the first drive. Very first play for Hamlin. Jackson Wadworth, the quick out to Easton Neuendorf. The point guard, he can run things too on the football side. 58 yards, already 7-0. That was kind of a preview of things to come. There would be plenty of points. Most of them scored by the Powder Blue in the second quarter. Wadsworth going to the air again. This time it's Bowden Stevenson for the 11-yard high wire act. 21-0 at this point, and they put up a lot of points in this one. 56-0. 56-20 rather, the final.
Now, Elton Lake behind White Beck has also looked like a championship team all season. They took on new head coach Jacob Giles and his Hanson Beavers. First play from scrimmage, Elliot Erickson takes it all the way. Elton Lake Benton takes a 7-0 lead on this coast-to-coast touchdown. Later in the first, Holt Beck, he's been fun to watch all year. I think I'm going to keep it this time. For the touchdown, it's 13-0 now in favor of the Elks. However, Hanson had a big second quarter. Easton Schlimden finding Radic Jarding for a touchdown before halftime. They take the lead, but it was all Elks in the second half. They roar to a 46-21 victory. Again, 9AA had Parkston, Hamlin, Elkton Lake Benton, and how about Freeman, Marion, Freeman Academy at Hill City in the snow.
Yep, and those are going to be rematches. Freeman will beat Freeman, Marion, Freeman Academy at Parkston, Elkton Lake Benton, and Hamlin the semis.
Don't go away. We've got 9A and 9B when we come back.
Welcome back. As we begin to wrap up our show, we head to Class 9A to Warner, where the Monarchs, the number 3 seed, one of 3 unbeatens in that class, hosting the Scotties of Phillip. And they get it started right, capping an 83-yard drive, 3-yard Peyton Volk touchdown run. It was 6-0 Warner. Then they would recover an onside kick, and the next one goes a little longer than 6. Drew Bakeberg cooking up a 40-yard bomb to Alec Mickelson. And it was all Monarchs. They take it 37-8. Let's take a look at the rest of the 9A board. Other unbeatens win as well. Wall by 50. Woolsey, Wessington, big over Dupree, and Howard with a shutout.
Howard and Ipswich, the battle of the Tigers in
Yeah.
that game. All right, the Avon Pirates feature one of the state's very best in Isaiah Meyer. They were hosting Canastota, a team perennial powerhouse that Dan Whalen took over before the season started, and they have really come on strong. That is Peyton Atchison getting the ball and taking it right down near the goal line. Unfortunately for the Hawks, though, the ball comes loose right before the end zone, and it's recovered by Trenton Sukup of Avon. And right before halftime, Isaiah Meyer, their great back, he's going to take it in. They lead 8-0. But Canastota rallies, showing that championship pedigree. Even though Avon's defending state champions, Canastota comes all the way back to win this one with the only 2 touchdowns in the second half. Your final score, the Hawks advance 16-8.
Biggest upset. Finally, we end with where all the quarterfinals started this afternoon in Dell Rapids. The Cardinals of St. Mary's hosting the Cougars of Kadoka. Cougars down 12 late in the half, going to the bag of tricks. Their halfback, Gus Stout, throwing a pass. Jackson Baumberger, stout defense to pick it off. And then with just 7 seconds left in the half, watch this. Cardinals drive down to the 5, no timeouts. Jameer Hansen wants to pass, but got nowhere to go. He's either got to get in the end zone, or half's going to end, and he gets in the end zone as the half ends. 20-0 at the break, and the final score would be 36-0. St. Mary's wins. Let's take a look at the rest of the 9B board. Again, your Canastota upset Sully Buttes on the road at Corsica Stickney, big, and Faulkton, late touchdown to beat Coleman Egan. So it'll be Dell Rapids, St. Mary at Faulkton, and Sully Buttes hosting Canastota. Not exactly the semifinal everyone had on their board probably when they were writing those out.
Sully Buttes has got a really good team, and Canastota's playing great now when it matters most. Huge day tomorrow in Minnesota. You got 4 games up in Marshall, and we've
one
got
in Worthington as
playoffs,
well, too. Jackson County Central and Pipestone will be playing in Worthington. A mini football Friday, if you will, tomorrow.
Congrats to all the teams that advanced to the semifinals with wins tonight. We'll talk about you next Friday.